Thank you so much to the leadership of IWF, the president, the executive, the leaders from different countries who are here, and of course, I'm part of the IWF family myself because as part of IWF in South Africa, I feel that I am in the sisterhood here. I am both humbled and honored by this encouragement that this award represents. It is also special that this happens together with friend, sister, colleague, Susanna Malkora, one of the handful of women out of the more than 3 billion women in the world who raise their hand up and say, I want to be the Secretary General of the United Nations. That's awesome. It is wonderful to be in that company of someone that I've watched who has nurtured us in the United Nations. Last year, in 2015, the world adopted the most comprehensive agreement since the Second World War. In part, because the world has never seen so much suffering, humanitarian crisis since the Second World War. The Sustainable Development Goals adopted in 2015 represent a response by the world, by the member states that we all belong to, as a mechanism for us to build a much better world. Ideally, if we were to have a woman Secretary General in the United Nations at the same time as we implement these goals between 2015 and 2030, that would be great. Because it has been accepted that these goals and the world that we want is not attainable without effective empowerment of women and girls. To have a woman Secretary General in the UN would mean that women who are in the closet, maybe some of you in this room, who are not coming out as leaders, would come out of that closet and lead, run for presidents, run for as the CEOs, and the many other positions in your countries. Because you would have a role model right at the top. She would be a role model for every girl in every corner of the world because the UN exists in every corner of the world. So please go home, mobilize your member state, mobilize the P5 in the Security Council, and tell them, after 70 years of this institution, now is the time for a woman to lead. What is also wonderful about the agreement that was reached by member states in 2015 is that we recognize that gender inequality is complex and it needs a comprehensive response. We also recognize that women are not a charity case. They are change makers that the world needs. You cannot address successfully 21st century concerns without investment in women, because you will not be able to overcome inequality, a big 21st century challenge, poverty, a big 21st century challenge, peace and security, a big 21st century challenge. Investing in women helps us to address these big issues. In the 17 goals that the world adopted last year, In each and every goal, there are indicators and measurements to gauge how much each of the goals will change the lives of women. Sitting here with your skills, with the strength that you have as IWF, you are amongst the people that need to participate in active implementation of those goals so that you could watch that we are making a difference in the lives of women and girls, be it in education, in health, in energy, in infrastructure, in building of industries, in addressing issues of poverty, all of which are the issues that these goals address. But there is also one goal amongst the 17 goals that is dedicated to women and girls, Goal 5. If you do not read the Sustainable Development Goals, please read about Goal 5. Goal 5 captures some of the deepest barriers that make gender inequality recur from generation to generation. It is about changing the laws in more than 100 countries that still have gender equality in their statutes. These laws stop women from owning property, stop women from contracting by themselves, stop women from owning land even though they till it. These laws also stop women from having citizenship in some countries and from passing their citizenship to their own children and from inheritance. Without removing these laws, many women will never be full citizens and full economic citizens. We are determined as UN Women, with your support, by 2020 to begin to turn the corner and to make sure that we reduce drastically the number of countries with these laws. Goal 5 also focuses on ending violence against women, a global phenomenon that affects every country in the world, with 1 out of 3 women living with some form of violence, most of it coming from partners. The majority of women who die out of violence, they are killed by their intimate partners. So a home for many women in the world is not a place of safety. It is a risky place to be in. This we have to turn around together. Goal 5 also focusing on practices and stereotypes that perpetuate gender equality and have extremely harmful impact on women. This includes child marriage, female genital mutilation, and many other stereotypes in the media in all countries that keep women's status much lower than that of men. This Goal 5 also is about participation of women at leadership level and ensuring that women participate effectively in the economy, in politics, and that women as equal citizens are able to enjoy equal pay for work of equal value. Goal 5 also focuses on women's reproductive rights and reproductive health and ensuring that women's bodies are not a playground for everybody, and women should be able to control and determine what happens to their bodies. Now, this Goal 5 also focuses on unpaid care work, a phenomena that robs women, especially the women who become mothers, of the ability for them to take and sell their labor as they choose to. Unpaid care work forces women to be the primary caregiver at home for children, for sick relatives, for adults, older people in the family, including in-laws, and for that, they are not covered by labor laws, they do not have social protection, and in the fullest of their life, they end up being the poorest of the poor. By just having parental leave, accessible and affordable childcare, that would be a game changer. It would change the power relations between men and women, because this thing called a baby happens in every society. More than 80% of men and women are biological parents. So that's a huge mass of society whose life could be changed just by us addressing the dynamics of unpaid care work. So you can see what we hold just in Goal 5 is not rock science. It's things that could be changed if only we had enough leaders who cared, who had zero tolerance to discrimination against women. And it's going to take us here in this room to stand up and do our best, because to whom so much has been given, a lot more is expected, so that future generations will not have to do what we have had to do, struggling, advocacy, and would have a much better quality of life, and would be able to make sure not just women, but men, children, young and old have a better life. And to achieve that, women's leadership, such as yours, is primary. And the US also must apply its mind about a woman leader, because that could be a game changer, not just for the US, but for the world. Thank you.